Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Collapse Time Masterclass. I'm going to have you all on just a gallery view for a second, honor you all, and then we can go on to the speaker view. Hello, welcome, everyone. If this is your first time in any of my masterclasses, any of my work, welcome. I am super excited to have you all here. And if you've been in my world for a while, welcome back. Marianne, thank you. Yes, you get to say, just warm up to each other's energy, just get to know each other. The chat box is open for you all to have these conversations. Just trying to see if I can just getting perfect. So all of you, a couple of things I want to run through before we even get into this conversation about how do we collapse time, this thing called time. I want to share that this is being recorded. This will be sent as a replay. So anyone who's live here, welcome. And anyone who's watching a replay, hello from me. I am super excited to have this conversation with you guys today. So I am taking this as consent that you all are happy for this to be recorded and you're absolutely okay to be not coming on the screen, go about your business, have yourselves on mute and you can keep watching this as lifetime access. So you get to watch this over and over again to completely understand the concepts that I share with you today and, come to a space where it feels natural, just as you're breathing. It feels natural where you don't have to push around things that, oh, what does collapsing time mean? What does this mean, that mean? It's really about understanding that this is the truest truth. This is the state of being. This is just like you acknowledge the fact that you're limitless consciousness, that everything that is being shown to you as a vision is available to you. So where are you actually creating that separation, right? I'm looking at the chat box, beautiful rainbows and unicorns and hello from Washington. All these gorgeous women in my world. There are lots of gorgeous men as well, but I think today we don't have any live with us. If you do happen to watch a replay, we're very proud of you for all the men showing up and doing the work and understanding that we're all vibrational beings, and shifting into that 5D consciousness, that limitless consciousness, and balancing the masculine and feminine in our world. So super excited for that. Today, the conversation that I want to have with you guys is around time and how do we, collapse time. And what do we really even mean by collapsing time? So before I jump into this topic, which can be quite big and it can be quite comprehensive, it can be confusing, it could be easy. It's just a lot of things. Time is such a huge concept. I want to know how many of you have heard about something called collapse time. Have you ever heard the term collapse time? Have you had an experience with collapsing time where you felt like, whoa, man, I collapsed time? Have you had any sense of collapsing time? Have you had an experience? Jenny says yes, 100%. So I would love for you guys to share in the comments, and then I can also share with everyone who's watching or is going to watch the replay what your experience has been. But today I want to share it more from the sense of, obviously my understanding of it. As you know, that I teach everything from my understanding of things, from my place of embodiment and my own experiences, based on whatever I've learned from quantum physics, from whatever I've learned from my experiences. And I can only share this from my place because I've only lived my life and I've only lived my experiences. So in any way, it never means that, what I say is the only truth. It is my truth. every time I teach something, I always share that what I'm sharing is my truth, my understanding. It nowhere means that, this is the only way, this is the only truth for you to collapse time or create experiences or bring more wealth or bring whatever experiences you want or bring your soulmate. This is the only way. No, this is my way that has worked for me. This has worked for a lot of humans who've come into my world. But ultimately, it's about you embodying what's right for you, you playing along with what's true to you, right? That's how we create our universe. At the end of the day, your universe is your universe. Like my universe, I am the main character. I am observing every reality, and you are people, gorgeous humans, limitless souls that I brought into my universe because there's a certain vision I saw, and then I went on the path of creating it. And that is what everyone's doing. Like, if you really see, there's nothing to reality but how we observe reality. Ultimately, we're just consciousness. So we are the infinite consciousness, right? We are limitless consciousness. We're born as consciousness and given this body. So when we realize we're limitless consciousness, we what we're observing as consciousness is actually transforming as our reality. And your girl's going on a bit of tangent, but I love tangents because I always feel like when it's come through, somebody needed to hear this. And as Jenny says, she loves my tangents. Ali says, I think I've been shocked when certain things happen fast. Not sure if that is collapse. Yeah, that's what it means, Al. That you know we have experiences where we weren't expecting them to have them happen that fast, or out of nowhere a certain experience comes that we weren't even expecting it to happen. So collapsing time, as I go through these conversations with you, as it unfolds, you will actually see, yes, it means that. It also means that it comes unexpectedly. It also means that you weren't expecting it. It wasn't even an experience you were calling in. It also means that it's gone by so fast. It also means that it's a skill that you thought will take you 2 years to learn, and suddenly 1 month after a month you wake up one day and you go like, I've just got this, I've nailed it. Like, I'm just this version who just knows it, right? So, but we're going to break this down in terms of manifestation and how do we really get to a point where we feel like whatever we're calling in, whatever visions we have, are really going to become our reality. Because we all know time is of essence. The most limited currency that we have is time. It's not money. Money can be made. Money, once you know how to tap into it, it's limitless. Time, we have a limited time. We are limitless, but this body that we've been given, this physical way to experience our consciousness, there is a limit to it. As we go higher into 5D consciousness, we will see that human beings will age slowly, and we'll have longer time spans because the consciousness is shifted. But at the end of the day, time is still limited. And how we use it to experience realities is the essence of this conversation. Yes, I've experienced collapsing time. Marianne shares that. That's beautiful. That's amazing. And we all have, and thank you for sharing, Marianne. And this is it, like we all have, sometimes we just don't recognize. So how do we actually collapse time and space to receive what we're calling in? So the biggest thing when we look at our visions, I've been calling them desires, but then the last few days it's been really shifting for me. And I feel like I want to address it as visions because our desires are really the visions that have been shown to us, they all exist. We see, you often hear me saying that we have a desire here because there's a multidimensional version of you living in a parallel reality, that experience, and it's coming through, it's piercing through your pineal gland to show you, oh, this is the vision, let's go for it. Okay, let's have the car, let's have the money, let's have this experience, let's have this man, let's have this woman, let's have this thing, let's write the book, let's start a podcast, let's share this. Why is this happening? Because there's a version of you already living it, and it's being shown to you. So it's a vision, right? So when we have a vision, there is only two things that are coming in the way of us not having it, or us slowing down the having of it, because it's there. It's existing. There's a version of you already living in the parallel, as a parallel reality. That thing does not need to be created. That thing exists. But how do we actually leap into it? How do we just shift? How do we just transcend into that reality? The two things that are creating that separation is you observing the separation and thinking that it lives in future. Okay, so time, that as human beings we have this thing where we believe that this is my future. Second is space, that it's actually something in the 3D form that must be created. Two things that are keeping us from having what we want. So when we observe this, that there is a separation, that say I want to have you know, let's look at a desire. Say I want to have some of you want to have a $10,000 month, some of you want to have a $50,000 month, wherever you're at. Some of you may want to just have a $5,000 month in your business. Say, let's say we're calling in a $10,000 month. Now, there is a version of you who's actually in a parallel reality, living this, doing this every day with ease. She's actually waking up to 5,000 notifications, $5,000 PayPal notifications every morning, giving thanks for it, going about her business, making her coffee, deep in gratitude, but she's not like hyper about it because that's her natural state of being, right? And so that's the desire. Now, the version of me, current version, would think, oh, in order for me to actually have $10,000 months, it's in future. That means 1 month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now. So your logical brain will tell you it'll take you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in order for you to become the version of you who can have the systems in place, the things in place, the website in place, whatever it is that your logical mind is telling you, it is in future. So you put a time to it logically, right? And the second thing that is creating separation is that you believe that it must be created, that that version of you has to be created, that money has to be created, those clients, that business has to be created. So now time and space. Space is like you feel like it has to be created in the 3D, in your 3D reality. So time and space are the things that are creating separation. Now, how does this work? I want to explain the concept of time and then go back to collapsing. How do we collapse time? So you really get the concept of time and how you've been actually watching the concept of time and space, and then truly, how do we collapse time and space so that we can literally go in that reality, right? So time is linear. We believe it's linear, but it's not. Okay. And what do I mean by that? By that, I mean that we believe that this is my now. Okay. Can you guys let me know that you can hear me well? I should have tested this, but I actually have a new microphone attached to this computer and just want to make sure that you guys can actually hear me. 20 minutes into the class, I am checking that, but hopefully you can. That's why, no one said that. But if you can confirm that to me, that'll be amazing. What else do you say? Yes, I've experienced collapsing time. Yeah, but not. You can. Perfect. Cool. All good. So this is my now. Okay. This is my now version. I am right now in the eternal now. I believe, or we believe, for those of us who believe or we've been taught time is linear. This is my present, and I believe it's a straight line, linear line. So this is my past, this is my present, and this is my future. That's what we all believe because that's what we've been told, that this is your now version. What's happened has been in the past, and what's going to happen is going to be in the future. So there's a straight linear line between through the past, through the present, and through the future. But is it really the case? Is time really linear? Time actually is non-linear. So time does not exist as this is me, my eternal present, and what happened was past, and then what straight line through the past, through the present, through to the future. It doesn't exist like this. This is my current eternal present moment through which I'm here, and there is nothing like this. It's like this. It's straight lines running through vertically as parallel realities, infinite parallel realities, billions and billions of realities. So this is my eternal moment. There is one reality, the ones that I've lived, many, but there is one I can live. They're just running through straight lines. Any parallel reality I can transcend into. There is no concept of past or future. The only concept in quantum physics is that they just run as waves. You know, for those of you who've done some of my other master classes, you understand that every reality is a wave. And I spoke about this in the observer effect masterclass. They're like waves in the quantum field. Okay, every reality is a consciousness. Every reality is like a potential wave that once you collapse, you've lived that reality. So this is your present now, and they're just straight. They're running through as realities, as timelines. They're called timelines, right? So in this present moment, there are multiple timelines existing. How would that be? If right now I picked up this glass and started drinking, I created a new timeline. If I just got up and said, guys, I need to go, I created a new timeline. If I'm sitting here and talking to you for another hour, it's a timeline. Every action is creating a timeline. Right now, the trees are, there's a gorgeous view. I can see the palm trees and the leaves are moving. The leaf moving left has created a new timeline. The leaf moving right has created a new timeline. So there's these realities are always happening around you. First of all, it is very important to understand what is our understanding of time before we even begin to go on the path of collapsing it, because then we're really in our power. We're in our power because now we're coming from a place of I truly understand this, and this is how it actually works. This is how I know this is my truest truth. And we really collapse all the programming. And I honestly call it BS because human beings just created this whole concept of time and money, and we created it. And now somehow it has power over us. Everyone's struggling. Everyone's trying to do multiple things. Everyone's trying to make more money. Like, we created all these concepts. Where have we lost our power to time and money, right? So when you realize that this is my eternal now, there is absolutely no past and there is absolutely no future. There are infinite parallel realities that are running like waves, like lines around. Infinite, 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 infinite. Now, I'm going to bring in another concept. There are 2, 3 concepts that I want to talk to you about, and you'll go like, no, but I remember my past. I remember my childhood. I remember the last 10 years of my life being traumatic. I remember I had a traumatic childhood, or I remember this experience happened. And yes, do we hold trauma in our body? Of course we do. But then we just remember it as a memory. It is not existing anymore. It is just a memory that we are holding in our consciousness. And we are taking that consciousness, that memory, to go into the future. So what's happening is we're not changing our identity. We're still holding the same identity. We're believing that this thing has happened to us and it's always with us. And from this eternal now, I'm walking into the future in a linear format, thinking that I want to create something. But my identity is I have had trauma with money. I've had trauma with relationships. I've had trauma. I've had wounding. So if I have this identity, I'm carrying my past into my future. Let me know if this is landing for you guys, because I can break it down another way. But it is us carrying that memory. That experience is gone. That was only in that eternal now that was experienced. But somehow we've held the memory, we've held the concept that this was my past. And now I'm my internal now, I'm holding on to that past and trying to project it into my future. And I wonder why I'm not able to shift into a new reality, because I have such a strong grip of who I am and what my past has been, right? And very true, it repeats. Yes, absolutely. So before yes, and there are two things that I want to again bring into this conversation. So let's just park this aside for a moment, because we are going to now, after having an understanding of how time works, I want to be able to show you what false realities are. And then, of course, how do we collapse time? How do we actually speed it up, right? So, what is a false reality? Because some of us tend to live in a false reality and we don't even know that we're living in a false reality. And what do I actually mean by it? So, this version of me, say right now, my present moment, I have two options. Because I'm infinite consciousness, I am just consciousness, and this vessel is experiencing things. Whatever my consciousness can tap into, right? So I'm this person right now. And if I can actually tap into, say, this parallel reality, which is running as like multimillionaire, really happy, everything, that version of me has a certain consciousness. Literally, if somebody had to tell you what is multiple realities, like other realities, it's literally a different consciousness. That's what realities are. That's what timelines are. Every timeline, every reality actually is a consciousness. That's all it is to it. And when you actually shift your consciousness, it starts showing as your physical reality. And you think like, boom, 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 girl, you've achieved this, girl, you've had that, girl. But what's really happening is that you've transcended into that experience, that reality, because of the mere shift of your consciousness and your observation of it. Like, now your consciousness is observing as, I'm someone's wife, I'm a mother, I've made wealth, I'm wealthy, I made this much money this month. Your consciousness is observing that reality now because it's come as evidence. So the question would be, what is false reality? Now, I am this current version of me, and say I have the ability to shift my consciousness, match the energy, match the vibrational state of any of the parallel realities, and then comes the synchronicities, the coincidences, and everything starts coming to you. But if I don't exercise that choice and I go as, this is my eternal now, this has all been my past of trauma. Like for some of you who know my journey, I lost my mom when I was like around 8 years old. Like, it's my daughter's around that age right now. So the way I actually look at reality is completely blown my mind, that I lost my mother when I was that age. So I've had a lot of trauma since my childhood. Like, and then I had lots of experiences where I had divorce, I had like a really good life, financially really good, through hitting rock bottom, to feeling really depressed, to being going through anxiety and depression. So that's all my past, right? And when I look back into the past and what my present is right now, if I hold all that, like my remembering of my past, the way I feel about the past has now changed. My story still remains the same, but the passion, what it activates in me, the emotions it invokes in me, is very different now. And I will share with you how that can actually change for you, and what is false reality. So that story, which I went through, now that is held in my body as experiences, but it's really, that was my that now. I've lived it already. The only way it can still stay alive is in my memory and my narration, my experience, the visceral feeling it breaks open in my body right now. What it's doing for me is the only way it has power. Otherwise, it's gone. It was just a reality. It was just a consciousness that I lived in one eternal now. So right now in my present, I tell you all my past. And now if I continue to hold this identity that I have gone through so much trauma and this and that, and it can still invoke the same feelings, it can still invoke the same consciousness, my future, if I'm going in a linear fashion, it's going to pretty much predict what realities or what consciousness I'm going to go into. Because of my identity and my feelings of what my past has been, I'm going to pretty much be around similar realities, or I may escape a bit and I might have some different realities, but the projection of what my past has been is going to be in my future is literally what a false reality is. Because a reality is not tied to your past. There is no past and there is no future. But we believe as logical human beings that this is my past, this is my present, this is my future, and we keep dragging that identity that has suffered, and now that identity is trying to heal, and now that identity is going to have a brilliant future, and we create such a lag, a time lag. We create all these experiences, but we make it so slow because we feel like we need to heal something, we need to fix something, we need to move away from all that we're holding, which is just basically a consciousness living in, which is lived in that eternal now. That we need to do something with this consciousness, this body, this being, in order for us to have an extraordinary future. Let me know if this is landing for you guys, right? Like the concept of false reality, because once you understand that, you can actually break through it. Like most of us are actually living in a false reality. Or we don't recognize that we are living because we're projecting our past identity, somehow trying to fix our eternal now. So, in the hope that we're going to have a nice future. So, I get the first option of consciousness, but what was the second? And Marianne says, yes, it lands. Okay. So let me break this down even more, Al, and then it's going to make sense, even more sense, or it's going to obviously land the way it's landing right now, and it's going to land differently half an hour from now. If you watch this again, it's going to land differently. It's so if I know that. So now I want to park this aside as well. There are two things we park right now. Now I want to talk about the fact that when we know that we're limitless consciousness, we know this, right? We are the infinite consciousness, limitless consciousness, and we've taken this shape, this body, this form, expressed as Prachi, as Marianne, as Al, as Jenny. We all have a certain expression of that limitless consciousness. And we're experiencing this time on earth, seeing these realities, right? So if I live this life and I am actually in the 3D, okay, so let's talk about the 3D and 5D. So when we talk about 5D, we talk about the quantum, we talk about the infinite consciousness. Basically, there is nothing called time. In the 5D, everything is existing right now. Everything, every wave of possibility, every reality that you can perceive, reality equals to consciousness. If you guys get this, you will just completely change the way you're receiving, you're allowing, you're manifesting. Every reality is merely a consciousness switch. If I can just perceive a consciousness of, a woman who's happy, who's healed, who's a wealthy woman, and I start tapping into that consciousness, I absolutely don't have to create any separation. I am just that consciousness. That those experiences, that those synchronicities are going to come into my field. I'm going to start getting downloads. I'm going to start acting, feeling like that person. And then out of nowhere, there is no concept of time. I've literally become that woman. I have collapsed space. I've collapsed time. I have literally just become that consciousness, right? So in the 5D, there is nothing called time. It's just a mere consciousness, right? Marianne says how beautiful it is. It's incredible when we understand how beautiful we are, how limitless we are, that we are literally limitless consciousness, and our only job means that the only play that we came here to play. That's why I named my book Play, and hopefully that it has been able to deliver that message that We're meant to play. We're consciousness. We're just meant to play between different consciousnesses, if that's a word. And the reality will mold itself to it. It's just a mere act of switching the consciousness, right? When I realized that there is nothing in the 5D, it's simple player consciousness, in the 3D, time goes really slow, right? So in the 3D, am I actually like screaming? Am I too loud? Because I just realized I'm too loud. I'm speaking into the microphone and I just realized I'm like, sometimes your girl's so passionate, I just don't realize. So if I was screaming, sorry. In the 3D, we don't, we, energy moves really slow, okay? So everything is energy. We understand that the whole field's energy. Everything is atoms, molecules, cells. You, me, this house, these things, even the things that look physical, there's energy. If you put it under a microscope, it will show you atoms and molecules. So we have 100% energy. 99.999% of your being is non-physical, which is everything is consciousness. Only 0.0001% is physical matter, which you can see, this body, these nails, these things. Rest 99.999% is atoms, cells, molecules existing as the energy. So, so that's beautiful. Thank you for confirming that. So when I realized that, okay, in the 3D, what happens is this energy is moving really slow because of what? Because of us observing, because of observing time, because of lower frequencies, because of emotions, you know, this body, this 3D experience, we feel things, we slow down, we get sad, we feel pain, we feel anger. All these lower energies, denser frequencies are being felt in 3D. But in the 5D, it's just higher frequency. Everything is vibrating at very high rates, right? High, 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 infinite parallel realities, waves are moving, infinite possibilities are happening in the quantum field. So the first thing you'll see is when you start shifting your consciousness, when you start, you know, shifting your higher, going into higher consciousness, you start feeling lighter. So many of you been doing the energy work where you're releasing, forgiving in the container, you know, absolute harmony with money. First day we did a gratitude list. You know, we just want to be vibrating in higher frequencies. Why? How do we collapse time when we're in higher frequencies? Because when we are vibrating at higher frequency, right? So if you look at, most of you know this, we spoke about this, Dr. R. Hawkins' vibrational chart, that the zero is no consciousness, so no human experience. And then there's shame, guilt, anger, resentment, 10, 20, 30, 40. Shame, guilt, anger, resentment, they're all lower frequencies. Then is boredom, neutral, happiness, joy, enlightenment, ecstasy, unconditional love, joy. All of those are higher frequencies. When we start operating in higher frequencies, our vibrational state changes. You'll notice you start feeling lighter. You don't need to have, you don't actually, you stop having memory of your past the same way. So when I'm in the eternal now, I don't need any memory. So right now, if I'm actually present with you, I don't have memory. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about the future. In the eternal now, my energy is right now in the field as eternal now. When we realize that if I don't have to, you know, have the memory of my past, because if you're always consciousness, you don't need to have a memory. If you're always consciousness, have you had days where you just feel light as a feather and you've gone to the lake or you've gone to the mountains and, you know, somebody says the next day, how was your day? What did you do yesterday? You're like, what did I do yesterday? Oh, wait, I went to the lake or went to the mountains. And you're like, wow, did I go there yesterday? Feels like so many days back. You've lost track of time. Why? Because you are vibrating at higher energy. You don't have any memory. You were just in the moment, focusing in the moment. And then memory is only something you're holding from the past. if you're actually living in the present moment of eternal infinite possibilities, you don't need memory. And even when you talk about your past, the way, like I said, when I talk about my past were just experiences. It does not invoke the same feelings in me. When I talk about my trauma, when I talk about that I cried about, outside a grocery store where I was short of money. My kids, 3 and 6, they found me crying on the kitchen floor, after I'd gone through my divorce. They don't invoke the same emotions or the consciousness, because memory is just something that's existing. But if you're in the eternal now, it does not actually exist for you. So basically, I think it, feel it, and believe it, and will eventually show up in your physical reality. Yes, exactly. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. We're going to have a conversation around this just in a bit. So now, when you cannot remember your days, how your days are going, that's a good sign that you're actually vibrating at higher consciousness and you are literally just in the present now. Because one of the fastest way to collapse time, that means that you just keep plugged in into that consciousness, whatever you're calling in, whatever is your vision, right? You just, that vision has a consciousness. Simply put, the reality you're calling in is a consciousness. And if you tap into the consciousness, you will, because the moment you see the vision, the next thing that comes is, oh, it'll feel so good. What is it going to feel good? So that consciousness, your only job is always to be present in that consciousness. What will happen, that you'll start feeling lighter, you start going to feel lighter. The other step of this is to completely reject, become unavailable to the current reality. Because now, if you are, you can't live two consciousness. Which brings me to the third point. In quantum physics, there is a law which says two things cannot exist in the same space. One space can only be occupied by one thing. Marianne says, thank goodness I thought I was getting dementia. Which actually, a lot of people think when they're getting old, they're getting dementia. But what's happening is they're just staying in the present moment. We don't understand this. But the people around them think that. But what's happening is their need to remember the past or the future has gone. Their consciousness, somehow they've been plugged into, I just need to know the now, the present. But the people around them think they're suffering, and the people are suffering because now they're not, their families, they don't remember their families, and people feel the pain because that's very 3D. The 5D is that there doesn't need to be any memory. We just need to live in the present and vibrating in the present, right? Yeah, beautiful perception. So, yes, you guys know how delusional I am. Sometimes I'm just talking and I just lose track of it. And I'm experiencing more and more of this. And it's just somehow seems to work for me, that it allows me to just be in the moment, and um, your delusional mentor, as I always say, you guys, thank you for giving me all this love, like supporting me. It truly makes me, like shows me more and more. I always knew it in my bones that this was my purpose, and it's unfolding beautifully every day. The messages you guys send me, the love, the support, it just confirms to me that this is the path. And there were times when I doubted it, there were times when I was like, who's gonna freaking understand this? But I had to give myself permission to understand this for my own self, change my life, and then go on and share this knowledge. Because at the end of the day, it was piercing through me, it was coming through me. It was like, you can't, you just have to go, and the world doesn't believe you, it's fine. Do you believe in it? Yes, then you have to speak it. And from there, whatever this my brand's become and I've become, and the magic I share with you guys, at some point I had to truly believe in the vision that I was shown. So that also is like a message on the side, a note that keep believing in whatever you're doing. The world, you believe the world is not going to get it, but if you fully get it and there's a vision that's shown to you, every vision that's shown to you, there's a parallel reality. There's a version of you actually living it right now. So how do we collapse that? How do you actually suddenly become this person, right? How do you really become that person? So if there is, I I want you to think about the times when you felt that the time has really sped and it's gone by really fast. Have you ever been on a holiday? Have you ever been like having a good time? You've gone on a date or you're with your friend or just having a great time, dancing or having a meal, or you've gone on a holiday and it's gone by and it's finished and you just go like, wow, the night went by really fast, or this experience went by really fast, or that holiday, oh my God, I want more of it. It just went by so fast. Why do you think you say that? Why do you think that when you're having a good time, it goes faster, right? How is it that when we're experiencing joy, ecstasy, bliss, whatever feelings, excitement, love, it just happens to just speed up and it goes by really fast? Right? Why? Because you're saying you're enjoying it. Yes, because you're in the higher frequencies. And when we are at higher frequencies, what's happening is everything's vibrating really, 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 really fast, and things are moving and things are happening. So, first of all, higher frequencies. That's why it's so important. If we want to collapse time, we want to be in higher frequencies. We want to be in states where we're just in awe, we're in gratitude, we're just simply feeling magic. And I'll tell you what, when I didn't have any freaking magic in my life, I started with that. Most of you know I've shared it in my book. I would simply just hold my cup of tea and create that. I would go for a walk and I would look at the sea. I would look at the roses. I still remember this, that there's this vivid moment. I get chills every time I talk about this. I would just stop and look at the plants and look at who created this, like roses. I would pick up an apple and like, this magic right now, like this, who created this? Like apple. For some, it will not make sense, but for you, if it does. So because I was able to tap into magic, I still remember, the two things that I shared, that how did I actually have a $17,000 day, was because a few days before that, I started doing this experience of really tapping into looking at roses and going like, wow, this is magic. I am magic. Like, who created all of this? Like, we're walking, talking magic. 1 in 700 trillion chances that you take shape and form as a human being. You're already a walking, talking, breathing magic, magic on legs. Chills. And then somehow, so when I started doing that, and then I talk about collapsing time by getting out of your autopilot. So doing things that make no sense to you, in the sense that they're not your usual identity, but because you do it, you actually collapse your identity. Your personality is creating your personality, a personal reality, right? So I decided to go on a date. I had gone through a long-term separation, and I was just like, and then Source said, no, you go have fun. I get downloads, I listen to my soul. So at the back of it, a week later, me observing magic, me collapsing my identity, collapsing the autopilot. My autopilot was to be a single woman, right? And I was like, okay, I will do this. I had a $17,000 day. How? Because I was in the field, I was just in the ripples of potential. I collapsed a wave, which I didn't even know. I wasn't on the path of creating it. Sometimes quantum shifts will happen. Quantum consciousness will bring you a potential wave, which you're not actually looking for. It'll come as a surprise. So when we understand that, okay, how do we actually collapse time? Not that we understand that time is non-linear, it's not linear. There is no past, there is no future. There is an eternal now. This eternal now, right now, is so powerful. Like Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. Now that you actually understand scientifically, this is all man-made. We are living from this eternal now, your consciousness observing everything. Whatever you observe, hashtag the observer effect. If you haven't watched the masterclass, you're very welcome to watch it. Get in touch if you don't have access to it. The observer effect, which means that I am in limitless consciousness. I am in the eternal now with infinite waves of potential possibilities. And the whatever I'm observing is the wave that I've already collapsed. Whatever I've experienced in the past was just a wave that collapsed. I'm just consciousness. I don't have to carry everything. That's what human beings do, but we don't have to. That's when we get into a higher consciousness. And then from here, I'm literally, whatever I'm observing, if today I observe wealth, if I observe abundance, if I don't have a story of I have had lack for 5 years, I have not manifested this, or I have not had the partner, because I'm observing that the partner's not there, or I'm not being given attention, I'm right now in the eternal field projecting an identity that the person does not love me, or the money doesn't love me, or all of those things. But if I actually in the eternal now are limitless consciousness, not the consciousness, not the memory of my past, you have a choice. You are such limitless consciousness that you do not have to. Yes, human beings have memory. Human beings, there's trauma stored in your body. Does not mean that you can't go on the path of healing, but you don't have to heal yourself for 15 years in order for you to suddenly feel like now you're worthy, now you can change your future, because guess what? There is no future. Everything is right now. So in a flick of a second, in a second, you flip that switch, you switch your consciousness. What does that mean? That I simply in the now, what am I? Limitless consciousness. If I don't bring any of the past, any of the future, and I'm just, what's my consciousness right now? My consciousness, bliss, gratitude, joy, higher frequencies. Oh my God, magic. Like right now, if you feel the essence of your beating heart, the 70 trillion cells in your body, like pure magic, there's the cosmos running through your veins. Can you feel it in your body? Like I can literally feel this. I get goosebumps. If you can be in that consciousness, what waves of potential will you collapse right now with this projection into the field? That's collapsing time. That's collapsing time, that you don't need to carry your stories with you every second into the field. And we go into the field every 7 to 8 seconds and we fall out. That's what Dr. Joe Dispenza says, 7 to 8 seconds. Every time you go into the field, taking your past identity, that's what you're going to get more of. How are we going to collapse time? But if I go into the field, every time I connect with the field, because I am the field, but when I drop that, oh, this happened, that happened, right now I'm just eternal consciousness, just feeling good about myself, my life, magic. My consciousness right now is plugged in into the field. I am limitless consciousness. I am vibing right, really high energy. I am in the field projecting magic. Out of nowhere, synchronicities are going to come. I am collapsing time because there is no time concept of time right now in my brain. Because there is no observation of time, there is actually no receiving of time. And that is what the collapsing happens, right? And you'd be like, okay, we understand this, but how do we actually manifest money? How do we manifest the partner, right? Like, how many of you are actually thinking, that's fine. Would you tell me how? I want to know. Because oftentimes, I would learn these things or I would apply these things and some things would just come through me and then I'll be like, all that is fine, but like, how the F in F do I apply this? So let's say we want to have a timeline. So now you understand, right? Like if I asked you guys today, or you were asked, what is a timeline? What is a higher reality? You'll often hear me say higher timelines, wealthiest timelines, healthiest timelines. Having had this conversation, I hope you know that by now, that what is a timeline? What is a reality? Please comment in the chat and let me know what you understand is a timeline, is a reality. Because once you get it, like the whole freaking plot changes. The way you're playing this game of life, this reality shifting thing kind of changes. What is timeline? What is a timeline? What is a reality? It is a mere consciousness. And the moment we realize that this reality, this vision that I've been shown, this timeline, this reality actually has this consciousness, I simply, in the eternal now, because I'm limitless consciousness, right now just embody that consciousness. Nothing else. There is no past, there is no future. My ability to vibrate in the consciousness that I've been shown of my vision, which could be relaxation, which could be gratitude, which could be just like calm the F down, don't hustle. It could just be that I feel in awe of such an incredible life. That's what this version of you is always saying, because she's got all her shits. She's just like, I'm in awe. I just love life, you know. She's working a few hours, she's going out, she's walking, she's watching the trees, she's watching the sea, she's just sitting, she's having a cup of tea, and she's like, I feel so good. That's the consciousness of that parallel reality. If I can right now in this moment be a match, an energetic match to that thing, there is, I've collapsed time and space, because now I'm not sitting here thinking it will take me 3 months to become this version, it'll take me 6 months to receive that man, it'll take me 1 year to become a millionaire, it will take me 3 months to have this business on this level, because now there is no time, there is just a matching of consciousness. And my only work is to be vibrationally aligning and resonating with that consciousness. That's it. Is here and now, right, Marianne? So if I want to have more money, like say I want to have, say, $50,000 months, whatever you're calling in, you know, like share it, put it in the group, declare it. You know, we're often so hesitant because when we say, oh, they'll judge me. And then we bring all these very 3D, low frequency feelings. She will judge me. He will judge me. I don't know if this will happen. No, we declare, this is a safe environment, but we declare every word you speak, every thought you think, it's a declaration. It's an energetic declaration to the field. Every person right now in your reality is actually an extension of you. There is no separation between Ali, me, Jenny, Marianne, none. We're actually same consciousness, we're just split in different identities, right? And the more you actually go into the unity consciousness, you see that the desires that you're calling in the waves of possibility, there is absolutely no separation of time and space between you and your desire, your vision, that infinite parallel realities that exist, that the vision that you're calling in. There is no separation. It's just mere consciousness. By the understanding of it, you collapse time and space, because now there is nothing between you and that version. They're just waves, they're just consciousness. And the moment I am able to resonate vibrationally in that consciousness, the the quantum molecules will shift and bring me that as an experience, as the man, as the woman, as the money, as the opportunity, as synchronicities, as miracles, as blessings. I cannot even put it in words what is coming to me, because now I have just collapsed time and space by dropping all logic and merely becoming a vibrational consciousness, that resonance, an energetic match to that consciousness. Jenny, feeling free and alive, deeply grateful for my meaningful life. That's beautiful. And if that is the vision, that is the consciousness. Now you clearly know the consciousness, Jenny. Because when, you know, most people come to me and they say, we want to manifest money. So many of my clients have manifested 6 figures. It has never been about the 10,000, the 20,000, the $50,000 months, because I'll tell you what, that is just a number. Money is a man-made game, a man-made concept. $10 invoke a feeling in you, $100 invoke a feeling in you, $10,000 invoke a feeling in you, $1 million invoke a feeling in you. Feeling is the confirmation that this consciousness is, this is what it feels like, right? That's the consciousness. It's a signature, it's a confirmation, it's like a stamp. That's how I'm meant to feel with a certain number. Okay, that's a very 3D way of understanding this. Because now somehow the consciousness, the vibration, the feeling is attached to a freaking number. First of all, that actually in itself is so limiting. But when we break the shackles of it by if I know that 100,000 is going to make me feel this way, can I feel the same feeling with $10? Because it's just a number. The value, the meaning we have given to this value is a very human experience. Somebody told me that I can buy a lot more with $1 million versus $10 because human beings created it. But the consciousness is my own feeling that I get. So if I know that if today with $100,000, I am going to feel freaking hell, I did it. I'm so proud of myself. I am amazing. I am limitless. I'm powerful. Can I do it with $1 with me? Because when I do it and it's not dependent, it's not tied and it's not limited, it's not with the constraints of the value, a certain amount that my worth, my feeling, my consciousness is attached to. And I can feel I am powerful, I'm amazing, I've got this, I'm limitless. You keep projecting that consciousness, what's going to come from the field? But we're too busy looking at making meaning. We're too busy looking at the past. We're too busy trying to project, trying to create a future. Why do we have to create a future? We absolutely don't have to. They're all waves. All we have to do to collapse time and space in order for me to receive those $10,000 days or $10,000 months or the man or the woman, I just simply have to be vibrating at that consciousness. This is the power of consciousness. I can feel my whole living room vibrate so much right now. It's insane, like I'm just too much energy right now here. And I'm so glad that we are holding this vortex together, that I'm so grateful for all of you to, you're here and you're receiving this. And I truly, truly hope that this is landed in a way for you that is going to really help you flick that switch of consciousness, that you today defy all logic and you take your power back by recognizing everything I've been taught, a very human experience of programming, of 3D matrix, basically, that this, you do this and you will get this, you do this and you will get this, you do this and in XYZ time you will get this, is all programming. But if you really understand limitless consciousness, if you understand the quantum, if you understand the 5D consciousness, that you are limitless consciousness, all you have to do is to flip that consciousness into that consciousness that you want to next experience. Like you experienced things in your past, they were just consciousness. The good times, the bad times, they've gone. You're going to continue collapsing waves. Every time you experience something, you collapsed a wave. You became a mother. You married someone. You wrote a book. You found a job. They were just waves that you wanted to collapse. They were just realities. There was certain consciousness. When you got the job, what did you feel? You felt good. You lived it. What's the next thing? It's just a game of consciousness. Second that. I'm so grateful for you and for this master. I'm so, so happy that you feel this way. So I'm just seeing if there's anything else that I wanted to talk to you. Okay. Another example that I wanted to give you, because I had so much to share with you. I kept a couple of notes, and there's this one that will really land, which at some point in the beginning should have come through, but I truly believe everything is coming out at the way, at the speed, at the time that it must come out, and serving the way it's meant to serve you. So when we look at a song, right, we play a tape. So if we slow down the tape, so a song that is a 1 minute song, but if we actually slow it down, the speed of it at which it's playing, it's going to become a 3 minute song, because now it's really going slow. So the experience of that song for us has slowed down, because it's going really, 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 really slow. I love you. The day I saw you. Let's have some fun as well. So now it's going really, really slow, right? So this experience of the song is going to become 3 minutes. But if I speed this up, the song is sped up. That 1 minute song is going to become 20 seconds. It's what have we done? We've collapsed time. Because it's vibrating at such high speed, we have sped up the experience of that song. We can listen to 4 more songs. The point being that when we speed up things, when we vibrate at high energy, the experiences are going really fast. You're moving through infinite parallel realities really fast because now you sped up the song and you're not trying to really slow down in that very slow energy. Your experience, you can experience a lot more when you collapse time. If you look back in the days when you're very high vibrational, or you're going through, say, you've had a joyful experience in your life, maybe some of you went through a marriage or a job or a good experience. For some days, you'll see everything's going really, really, really fast because you're very happy about your life. It's going really, really, really fast versus when there are times when you feel like, last few months have been so stagnant because you're moving at very dense, low, slow vibration. So your experience of your reality is just like that song that we've now slowed down, and it's taking us 3 minutes or it's taking us 3 months to experience this reality versus if I speed the song up, if I vibrate in higher frequencies, if I'm in awe and magic and experience of my limitless consciousness, just that, nothing else. We don't need anything else outside of us, do we? No. If I just keep vibrating in this high, infinite 5D limitless consciousness, and I'm always in awe of my being, not attached, detached from, or dependent on anything, the money, the husband, the wife, the clients, anything, because I am such limitless, magical, infinite consciousness, and I'm in awe of it. You see that you start speeding up the song, and many, 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 many more experiences are coming to you from the field now. You've collapsed time because you are in high vibration. The energy is being sped up. So the collapsing of time is basically that A, you don't believe there is any time. B, you're vibrating at such high energy and vibration. Your consciousness is literally pulling the consciousness, the aka the experience or the reality from the field that you're matching. It is that simple, right? So the money or the love, we have to play it in a very detached way. So the normal way of creation where people are not able to collapse time and space and they go on this path, the hustling culture where it's like, I am going to become a millionaire, and it takes them 2 years, 3 years because A, they believed it's going to take them that much. So what we believe is what happens. So I have a belief it's going to take me 5 years or 2 years. What's going to happen? I am going to continue projecting that belief in the field, and I will create those consciousness, those realities. And then I will prove and I will hustle because I believe in order for me to create it in my space, I've created separation of time and space now. Now I go on the path of proving, trying, creating, pushing myself, staying up till late, hustling, and trying to be this person. And I absolutely do not judge it. It is just a 3D paradigm, and most people are doing that. But if you knew a better way, a more powerful way, an easier way, the quantum way, would you do that of collapsing time and space, or would you do it the hustling way? Of course, at the end of the day, we all have a choice. Everything is a choice, right? So if I realize that I do not have to do it this way, I simply have to know that I want to have this experience. What is the consciousness of this experience? What does the millionaire version of me feel? And now I don't have any stories, any logic around the time of the manifestation of this experience and the space, that how this is going to be created in the 3D, because it does not need to be created. It is a parallel reality. It's a wave of possibility existing in the field. There's a version of me living it now, straight lines. So this is a wave of millionaire me. I just have to be in the energy, the consciousness. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. I know of millionaires like my mentor who has made $50 million in the last 5 years from her brand versus people who take 10 years to become a millionaire, right? There is no concept. It's what we believe. So now we defy time, we defy space, and we defy all logic in order for us to collapse time and become that consciousness, live that reality that we want. I truly hope that this collapsing time masterclass has served you and allowed you to really look through the illusion of time, this man-made concept that we've been taught and is so limiting, that you are able to look through this whole illusion now. Jenny, question. Yes, absolutely. So yes, Q&A time. If you have any questions, please pop. Jenny says, do you believe in the universe loves us because it is us? Oh, that's such a beautiful question, Jenny. Do you believe the universe loves us because it is us? So I truly believe that the universe, the quantum field, the source, the cosmos, that one thing, the spiritual realms, people call it God, whatever, that thing, we are that thing. That thing is one source expressed as different forms, human beings, animals, this whole nature. So we are it. I truly believe we're an extension of it. This is my understanding, my version, may not be everyone's truth. We are an extension of it. And you are you. You are your whole being. If you experience yourself in totality and love yourself fully, which is actually sometimes us human beings find it very hard, but that's the work. When you come into a stage where you fully love yourself, like I have come to that stage where I completely have stopped judging myself. There will be parts of me sometimes will come and judge, and I'm like, no, I'm unavailable for this. Talk to the hand. I am in awe of myself. Because I love myself truly, my universe, which is me projected out, every person in my universe is giving me love back because I don't judge myself and I fully love myself. So to break down this answer, I'm just giving you a projection of what's really happening because my universe is me experiencing each one of you. My reality is me pushed out, which is AKA you, this house, this person, the people in my life, whatever I'm seeing in my reality. So my universe is me pushed out. Similarly, to answer your question, the universe is you. You are your universe. Everything you believe about yourself is going to be shown to you as evidence. So if you judge yourself, you're going to manifest as experiences of people judging you. And I had so much of that in my life. Whatever you believe about yourself, if you fully love yourself, your universe is you loving yourself. That's it, right? So I hope this answered your question, Jenny. That is truly what I believe, that my universe is me. Every element that I'm seeing in my reality is literally a projection of what's inside of me. You are my mirror. I am the mirror. You are the screen. Whatever I'm projecting is being shown to me. So if I'm judging you and I believe things about you, you're going to project that back to me. If I love myself fully, I'm going to manifest people in my life who love me unconditionally. And I actually, without an ounce of doubt, know that all you women and all the men and all the people in my world, even the people who are on my social media, people who've never bought things from me, who just come once in my field, are, and activated by my frequency, just send me unconditional love. I just know it. That's my truth. And I continue to experience it now. So that is the universe that I'm living in, right? I would love to know, we can take this offline, like what is your experience of that understanding? Wow, I'm so grateful, Jenny. Thank you so much. And that is such an incredible question. I love that. I hope it's truly served you, this conversation. If you have any more questions, comment below. And if you sorry, what was I going to say? Yes, and the recording. Sorry, I got lost for a second. Again, your delusional mentor. So this recording will be sent through email. You will have lifetime access. You can keep watching it. For those of you, a couple of you DM me. My inbox has been so, crazy busy. I think I manifested this busy. There was a time that's the consciousness. So I am always so grateful. I never complain about these things because there was a version of me always wanting these things, right? So for those of you know, I dropped something yesterday. I dropped a very secret insane offer. As you know, it's my birthday month. I keep doing this. So this is not a portal where I'm selling it, but for those of you who have messaged me, I will get back. Don't worry, you're not going to miss out. If you miss out, I will create another offer. There is only one spot for that. So if you have, just receive the fact that I will get to that. My inbox has been really, really insane today, but I will get back to it at some point. And if you do miss out, do not feel disappointed. There are infinite parallel possibilities. You just go on to manifest the next thing and the next thing. I love you guys. Thank you for being here, and I will get on to sending you the recording very soon. Thank you. Thanks, Marianne. Thanks, Al. Thanks, Jolly. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for all the people who are going to watch this replay. If you have any questions, it's a good idea to get inside my DMs or email it to me. And I will make sure I get to those while I am still in the field of this collapse time masterclass. Also, yes, I am traveling for a week. So there is only next week, I think we have a QC call and a couple of your girls ranting. So what I'm saying is that, yes, I'm taking a week off. Off means not other things, and I'm not doing any master classes. At the back of this travel, which is a solo trip, it's going to be my 44th birthday next week. I'm super excited. I feel truly this month and this year is, I think, my most powerful that I have yet experienced. And, it is a really incredible number for me because I'm turning 44, and which means 8, and 8 is the sign of infinity. And I can feel so many incredible things happening, and I can feel, like these changes in my body itself, my being. It's so visceral, like I can't even put it in words. So at the back of it, I'm bringing you identity switch. I know a lot of you are already in it. It already blows my mind, and portals are blessing. So the dates are not out yet, but I just wanted to share with you that the magic that I'm experiencing in my own life, I cannot wait to share this with all of you. And thank you for being in my world. I truly, truly, truly am so grateful for each one of you who's taken their time and to be here and, learn these things from me, which I have seen change my life. Thank you so much. I love you all. You guys, you're going to bring tears to my eyes. You're a beautiful soul. Thank you. And there is no separation absolutely between you and me. I'm sending you so much love. Bye, guys.